of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Matt, may we please have roll call?
Councillor Thompson,
Here.
Demas,
Here.
Pedri,
Here.
Hickerson, Zadi, Hanson,
Here.
Vitolo,
Here.
Robinson,
Here.
Mayor Mickelson.
Here. Before I ask for a motion to approve the agenda, I have to apologize. I was contacted last week by one of our teachers at the high school asking if the academies could do a brief presentation, and I completely spaced it, but told them to show up and that we would modify the agenda and add them.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I would like to revise the revised agenda to add the high school academy programs presentation.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay. Now I'd entertain a motion to approve the doubly revised agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Moved by Councilor Hickerson, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our consent agenda. First up, we have the City Council meeting minutes of November 5th, 2024. We have Marianne Emden appointed to fill an unexpired term on the Planning and Zoning Commission, Health Insurance Fund recap, the financial report summaries for July, August, and September, the Rock Springs Historical Museum board meeting minutes of September 11th, 2024, the Main Street board meeting minutes of October 14th, 2024, and a memorandum of understanding between various Wyoming entities regarding impact assistance for the Kemmer Power Station Unit 1 project. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to bid openings.
Oh, man.
There's 5, I think. Is that right, Mary? There's 5? Okay, first up, we have Instituform Technologies from Elizabeth, Colorado. Okay. The total bid amount is $2,797,239.
Could you repeat that?
I surely will. $2,797,239. And there is a bid bond. Next up is Subsurface Inc. From Fargo, North Dakota. There's a bid bond. The total bid amount is $4,917,780. $4,917,780. Next up is Iron Horse LLC from Fairview, Oregon. total bid amount is $3,181,380. $3,181,380. And there is a bid bond. Now we have Whitaker Construction Company from Brigham City, Utah. The total bid amount is $2,817,285. $2,817,285. And there is a bid bond. And our final bid of this evening is from Inliner Solutions from Kiowa, Colorado. The total bid amount is $2,186,040. $2,186,040. And there's a bid bond. Okay. Well, we will await staff's recommendation on those. And that brings us to the most exciting part of this evening, the City of Rock Springs fiscal year 2024 audit presentation from McGee, Hearn, and Pies.
How did I know it was me when you said exciting? I just felt like everyone was really, really excited to start off their night with this. Alex did ask that I go through page by page in the report, but in hopes of being invited back, I think I'm going to stick to the highlights. But Mayor Mickelson, council members, thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm here to present the audit report for fiscal year 2024. Like I said, I'll just cover the highlights. Stop me throughout if you have any specific questions, or we can do questions at the end too, whatever works best for you. I'll go ahead and kick it off with the independent auditor's report on pages 1 to 3, and we are issuing an unmodified or a clean audit opinion. Following that, on pages 4 through 12 is management's discussion and analysis. This provides the operational highlights for the last 2 years. Financial statements are only a single year presentation, so this is where you'll find the comparative 2-year information. The financial statements begin on page 19. Ooh, actually I went way too far. They begin on page 13. See, I missed 6 whole pages there. With the full accrual basis of accounting and the statement of net position, which is the governmental equivalent of a balance sheet. The full accrual basis shows both the short-term and the long-term assets and liabilities. 2 columns there, your governmental activities, which is made up of your general fund and your capital projects fund, and your business type activities made up of 3 different things, your water, sewer, and housing fund. Overall, total assets were really consistent with the prior year. There was a decrease of $6.2 million in total liabilities, and that was primarily related to a decrease in the net pension obligation. So we'll cover that a little bit later in the footnote, but known to swing a lot year to year. Overall, your total net position or equity was up about $13 million, with a big chunk of that being in the unrestricted net position, up about $10.5 million. On page 14, your statement of activities, governmental equivalent of an income statement. This is going to show, once again, on that full accrual basis of accounting. A couple of things to point out here. Overall, governmental activity expenses did see an increase of about $5.3 million. That was due to increased personnel costs as well as swings within that pension expense amount. Down in the general revenues, general sales and use tax continue to trend up again about $1.8 million or 8%. You'll also see an increase in that supplemental government funding line compared to last year. That's up about $4.3 million, and that's that specific purpose tax. So those funds started coming in this year. And then investment earnings were up about $2.3 million. So when you look there at the change in net position, you're going to see increases all the way across. Total government-wide is going to be an increase of about just under $13 million compared to last year, an increase of $6.9 million. So a good fiscal year. On page 15 starts another set of financial statements. These are different. They're on the modified accrual basis. So what that means is it's a shorter term focus. So it gets rid of the debt, it gets rid of the capital assets, and really just focuses on those more short-term assets and liabilities. Here you will see those two governmental funds I mentioned earlier. That Capital Projects Fund is a new fund this year, and it is the helm of the 6-penny specific purpose tax. On page 17, once again, the equivalent of an income statement, still on that modified accrual basis. And you will see increases there compared to the prior year in your taxes and special assessments, investment income. Overall, change in fund balance was about an increase of about $3.4 million compared to last year, an increase of about $3 million. So up a little bit there. On pages 19 through 22, financial statements continue. This details your business type activities fund. So once again, those three funds, water, sewer, and housing. The notes to the financial statements begin on page 23. Note 1 is a summary of significant accounting policies. There were no new policies this year. I'm happy to say no new governmental accounting standards to have to talk about tonight. So I think that makes everyone very happy. On page 29, note 2 provides additional information regarding the city's cash balances and investment portfolio. The city continues to carry a good amount of its cash and investments within Y class, representing 41% of total investments compared to 39% last year. So that footnote 2 goes clear to page 34, so a lot of detail there. Another note I'll point out to you is on page 37. That is in regards to retirement commitments. And this has to do with that net pension liability that I briefly mentioned had swung way down this year. So that relates to your participation in Wyoming retirement systems, 4 plans, public employees, Fireman's A, Fireman B, and then the law enforcement plan. So the net pension liability came on, I think, about 11, 12 years ago at this point in time. It is a significant accounting estimate within your financial statements. Wyoming Retirement Systems hires an actuary. They do an actuarial determination of all plans, and then your allocation is determined based on your percentage of contributions to the total plan contributions. So that is a liability that's on there as a requirement of governmental accounting standards, hopefully not ever to be an actual liability that you would have to cash flow in the future. You'll see that on page 39, total net pension liability just over $14 million for the sum of those 4 plans. Last year, $22.8 million. So a big swing down for sure. And then I will move over to note 8 on page 44. This is another significant accounting estimate within your financial statements. This one is the IBNR within the self-insurance medical plan, calculated by the city's TPA, and estimates that liability at year end based on data available to them. On page 47, I'll draw your attention to note 11 for another significant accounting estimate within your financial statements. This one covers the post-employment benefits other than pensions called OPEB. So what this relates to is as you allow retirees within your health insurance plan, there's an implicit subsidy that results in a liability under accounting standards. So another governmental accounting standard on that one. So this one remained pretty consistent with last year, $2.1 million this year, $1.9 million last year. This is an actuarially determined liability. This is an actuary that's hired by the city as it's a city plan. I will jump forward again, clear to page 56, which is the budgetary comparison schedule for the general fund. This goes from pages 56 to 58. We did ensure in our audit procedures that the city didn't overspend any levels of legal budgetary authority, and there were no issues to report there. And then I will jump again clear to page 71, which brings me to the second part of the audit report. So the first part was the financial statements, the footnotes. The second part is the audit of federal dollars. Under the uniform grant guidance, the city does qualify as a low-risk auditee. That just means that in the past 2 years, no material weaknesses, no material findings in the last 2 years. So as a requirement, we have to audit at least 20% of federal funds expended. So lucky April got to be the target of that this year, and we audited the Section 8 Housing Choice Vouchers program as our major program this year. So this schedule of expenditure of federal awards details all federal awards expended by the city in the fiscal year. So you'll see a total about $1.4 million expended. That is down slightly from last year at $1.8 million. In conjunction with that second part of the audit with federal dollars, 2 more independent auditors reports to present to you. The first one on pages 75 to 76. This one has to do with internal control over financial reporting and compliance with other matters under governmental auditing standards, issuing another clean report here. So no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in internal control noted, and no non-compliance with state statutes or laws and regulations. Third and final independent auditor's report follows on pages 77 to 79. This one ties back specifically to the housing program that we audited, and we are required to audit all direct and material compliance requirements and look at the internal control. Happy once again to note another clean report, no instances of non-compliance or no deficiencies noted. So 3 clean independent auditor reports for you tonight. I'll also quickly go over the stapled document that you were provided. This is required by my auditing standards that I present to you all as those charged with governance. Just a summary of how the audit went, and overall, very, very well. You will note on page 1, we did note an unusual transaction this year, and that's just the addition of the new fund, so that capital projects fund that we talked about that's housing those specific purpose tax funds. And then on page 2, we do note that there are significant accounting estimates within the financial statements, 3 of them. We pointed them out as we went through the notes. There were no audit adjustments noted by us. No disagreements with management, significant issues, or difficulties. Overall, I feel like things went really, really well. And a big thanks to Matt and Alex and April and all their teams. So I know it takes a ton of work for them to have this quality of report to provide to you all. So happy to answer any questions.
Council? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Great.
It is wonderful to have such a great report, and it is definitely a testament to the work that is done by our finance department. I can't say that I was worried. No, but it is speaks very highly of their efforts and the work that they do. So thank you for being here to share that with us.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Okay. Next up, we have a presentation from the Sweetwater Prevention Coalition and Survivors of Suicide Loss Day.
Thank you, Mayor Mickelson and council members. My name is Shay Haney. I'm one of the prevention specialists of Sweetwater County, as well as the coordinator for the Sweetwater County Prevention Coalition. I'm just going to come up, talk to you guys about our prevention coalition, what our plans are over the next 2 years, what strategies we're going to be implementing, and then also talking about our event coming up this Saturday, which is a really, really important annual event that we hold every single year. This will be our 4th year of holding it. And please stop me for any questions if you really need them. I will be talking fast because I'm going to try and explain each strategy as much as I can. And there are a lot. We have about 23 different strategies that we are going to be implementing over the next 2 years. So we're just a coalition of community members that operates under grant funding to provide community and county-wide education, promotion, and evidence-based programming for a variety of prevention focus areas. Those prevention focus areas include underage drinking and youth marijuana use, adult overconsumption of alcohol, tobacco, opioids, and other drugs, suicide, as well as shared risk and protective factors or capacity enhancement, basically. But first, we'll go over our underage drinking and youth marijuana use. So the different strategies that we're going to be implementing. Again, we will keep implementing our community event toolkits. These are our portable ID scanners that we You have MOUs out too for different events such as fair, so that we make sure that no minors are getting a hold of alcohol. We check IDs and make sure that everything is safe and compliant. We have Why We Talk, which is just a great website that encourages positive conversations with youth and their parents, talking about challenging topics such as substance use and suicide prevention. We then have Botvin Life Skills Training, which is a program to teach prevention-related information, promote anti-drug norms, teach drug refusal skills, and foster the development of personal self-management skills and general social skills. We then have Operation Parent, which is a program that has created parent handbooks for parents raising kids K through 12, working to address today's toughest situations and parenting issues such as anxiety, vaping, cyberbullying, depression, suicide, self-harm, eating disorders, screen time, social media, apps, sexting, porn, sleepovers, gaming, and much, much more, including alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, prescription drugs, all of those different parties that are happening, human trafficking. It really does cover a lot of it. They do come in two different versions. They have an English version and a Spanish version for both, for all elementary school, middle school, and high school levels. They're absolutely great, and we have a bunch of editions of them. And then we have a new one that we are hoping to implement into the schools, or at least just starting to implement it as a class. It's called Prime for Life. It's a class for youth to understand the risks around THC, alcohol, and other drugs, including perception of personal risk, progression towards addiction, and preparation for personal change. So those are big things that we are really focusing on for our underage drinking and youth marijuana use focus area. For our adult overconsumption of alcohol area, we are going to continue on with TIPS training, which teaches bartenders and bars in general about proper service. That way they're not over-serving their clients, making sure, we're not trying to increase our DUIs or anything like that. We want to make sure that everybody is safe and drinking responsibly. We have Rethinking Drinking, which is just a website working to disseminate knowledge about the effects of alcohol on health and well-being. Drink Less for Your Breasts, which includes bringing the knowledge that even a standard drink of alcohol can increase your risk of breast cancer if consumed often. A new one, which is Drink Less, Be Your Best, is a campaign that encourages adults to drink less alcohol for a healthier and better quality of life. We have WISE, which stands for the Wellness Initiative for Senior Education Program. It really empowers older adults to advocate for their own health, make healthy lifestyle choices, and navigate use of medications and substances like alcohol. We have implemented that in our previous grant cycle, and we're going to continue to implement it. It's been a great class. It was awesome. The seniors loved it, and they were absolutely fantastic. And then we have a new one, which is 0013. It's an alcohol abuse prevention program that promotes making responsible choices with regard to alcohol use. It stands for 0 drinks if under the age of 21, 0 DUIs or driving while under the influence, 1 drink per hour amount of alcohol that the liver can process in 1 hour, and no more than 3 drinks of alcohol per outing. It was started by Warren Air Force Base back in 2004, and so we're really going to try and get that campaign going here. It's already started in Teton County, and they've been implementing it, and it's been great for their local bars, and they've been very accepting of it, and so we're hoping we can kind of get that campaign into our local bars here. And then we have our tobacco. We continue to promote the Wyoming Quit Tobacco line and My Life, My Quit, which is focused towards youth who are using tobacco products or vaping. It truly just helps those that are just trying to quit smoking. They are able to call from a Wyoming number, get on a plan, even get some nicotine replacement therapy straight from the line, have weekly counseling sessions with those wonderful counselors that are through the program. It truly is great. They get quit kits and just a bunch of stuff that truly helps them. We're also able to give out community nicotine replacement therapy for about 2 weeks or so that while they are waiting for that nicotine replacement therapy from the quit line, we can get them started on that. As well, with along along with the Wyoming Quit Tobacco line, we also are implementing our adult tobacco cessation program. It's through the University of Colorado's Behavioral Health and Wellness program. It's called Dimensions. And it just teaches information, skills, and strategies that can be used to build a healthy lifestyle to stop tobacco use. We also have our youth cessation courses. We have our in-depth nicotine cessation class. It stands for the Intervention for Nicotine Dependence, Education, Prevention, Tobacco, and Health. And then we also have our NOT program, which is Not on Tobacco. These are both from the American Lung Association that helps really promote, kids trying to stop vaping and using tobacco and teaching them about the effects that it has on their bodies, as well as being able to cope with how to quit. Because a lot of people try not to talk about that, but it's very, very important that kids are suffering through this too. They are struggling with withdrawals from nicotine, and so we really try and discuss that. They get to create their own quit kits and talk about, what we do, future planning and things like that. And then also through the coalition, we like to do policy updates and keeping up to date with language and new products that are out there. It's really huge to health and safety of Sweetwater County residents. We have just updated Southwest Counseling's tobacco policy. If you're looking to hopefully get some tobacco policies updated, please reach out. We would love to help in any way that we can. It makes Sweetwater County look fantastic, as well as the Department of Health really, really advocates for it. For opioids and other drugs, we always have offered free medication lock boxes and practice safe storage. So we are able to, anytime that somebody is needing some type of medication lockbox, we offer small and medium lock boxes. We deliver them ourselves to residents of Sweetwater County. If they're wanting to keep their medications, their vitamins, cold medicine just in a safe place away from those that might want to reach for it. And then we also have drug deactivation kits. These kits just help deactivate prescription drugs, pills, patches, liquids, creams, and films, and it just renders them unavailable for misuse, and it's safer for the environment and makes it so that people are not going through trash cans or anything like that because there is no longer use of them. We also are going to be participating in drug take-back days where we will be with our drug take-back dispensers, where we're going to try and do a whole campaign around it, go do that on that day, encourage people to drop off all their unused medication that they haven't, that's just been sitting in the back of their closet or anything like that, just to make sure that we're practicing some safe stuff. We also have workplace toolkits if you want to update anything in your guys' organizations to kind of work on drug policy updates and things like that. And then we have our suicide strategies. So we continue to offer CIT or crisis intervention teams training. It's a 40-hour mental health training week for law enforcement. I talk about it a little bit later on, but it's really, really great. We also offer free gun locks and gun lock boxes. It's just another way to promote suicide prevention, just that extra step that if somebody does have a gun in the household or a firearm in the household, that they're making sure they're keeping it safe and locked up appropriately, just for an extra suicide prevention measure. We also have Walk the Talk America, a nonprofit organization that bridges the gap between mental health and firearm safety, that offers anonymous mental health screenings and cultural competency classes for providers to understand gun culture. We've actually been trying to have Southwest Counseling's providers take this cultural competency class. That way they're understanding gun culture, gun owners. That way people who are going into some type of clinician or anything like that don't feel judged and don't feel that stigma from providers about having guns and using guns. We then have Man Therapy. It's a men's mental health campaign with the goal to support all men before they are ever in crisis and reminding men that taking care of their mental health is truly the manliest thing a man can do. And then we have our Survivors of Suicide Loss Day event, which is just where we have survivors of suicide loss come and support each other through hope and community and letting them know that they are not alone. We are on our 4th year of that, like I had mentioned before. We also offer a suicide bereavement support group that meets every first Monday of the month at the Rock Springs Library. And then we also have a couple of different suicide prevention trainings. We have mental health first aid training. It's an 8-hour training talking about the early and worsening and crisis symptoms, signs and symptoms, how to talk about this, how to approach people that are in crisis situations. It really does go into depth about the different mental health challenges that are out there and how to approach those folks that do have those challenges. And then we do have our QPR training, which is a 2-hour training on suicide prevention about learning how to ask the question, persuading someone to talk, and then get help and referring them to that help. So that's really what we're doing in our suicide prevention area. It's not on here. I forgot to put it on here, but under our shared risk and protective factors, we are doing sources of strength. We have been implementing that into Sweetwater County School District number 1. We have it implemented so far at Black Butte High School, Rock Springs High School, and Rock Springs Junior High. They are working effortlessly. We just recently did a T for T at the beginning of June, getting a lot more, focus and, just trying to get some more information out there. We're hoping that in the future we can get it on board with some of our elementary schools in Sweetwater County School District 1. There has been a little bit of interest in that, and I'm hoping we can really dive into that. But truly, it's just about supporting them and continuing on with that program that's already implemented into those schools. It's an anti-bullying, suicide prevention, self-help program that is peer led. It specifically is led by the kids. They get to pick the program, they get to pick the campaigns and decide how they want to run it. And it really works on trying to find those sources of strength. And there's a strength wheel about it, and it truly just talks about what each of it means to them. And it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm really, really hoping we can expand it even more and more over the next 2 years. Some past accomplishments that I would really like to highlight as a coalition that we've really done over the last few years. So we have trained over 80 law enforcement and CIT training, and we'll definitely have more for that. We've given mental health first aid trainings to 55 people in the last year, presented prevention strategies and education to over 400 kids. Given QPR trainings to 487 Sweetwater County School District number 1 staff in the past 3 months is what I'm very, very proud about. The schools have been really, really great about working with us and making sure we can get some counselors trained in QPR, as well as myself and past prevention specialists and future prevention specialists that are continuing to work on that. We've had 3 successful International Survivors of Suicide Lost State events. We've given out over 100 medication lock boxes and gun locks just in the last year. And obviously, we still continue to do our monthly articles and radio ads promoting our key prevention strategies that I have discussed. But for our future and what we plan on doing is we want to continue on with the governor's mental health program and all he's trying to do with Dr. Kent Corso and doing the Prosper trainings. We plan on having him and his team come back in spring to continue on and train our community in Prosper, the suicide prevention. We've also been talking about a suicide fatality review team. Basically what a suicide fatality review team just is allowing communities to track trends, determine who in the community is high at risk for suicide, and consider systemic changes that could potentially prevent future suicides. It really is more on the county level. It lets us know what's going on in Sweetwater County and why people are dying by suicide, and it lets us know those trends. I've even started to get the coroners on board with that, so I did get an email from our local coroners that are willing to start working on that team. And I know, Mr. Mayor, that you are very interested in that as well. We're going to work towards it, and we're going to work on it. I really would like to hopefully eventually train the entire city of Rock Springs in some type of suicide prevention training, hopefully QPR training, just because it is a shorter training, but it really does help. I think everybody should be trained in some type of suicide prevention training, just because suicide is everybody's business. And with suicide prevention training, we could truly save even just one life, and one life is better than no life at all. And then obviously we would like to try and get all of the teenagers at the high school trained in suicide prevention training. Since we've done pretty much all of the staff and administration, we would really like to get those kiddos involved so they understand what's going on, how to help not only themselves, but also their friends and their peers. If you'd like to join the coalition, it's a great organization. We meet every fourth Thursday of the month from 12 to 11. Sorry, it should say 1 p.m. I don't know why it says 11 p.m. That'd be a long meeting. From 12 to 1 p.m. The next one is going to be this Thursday at Coltrane Coffee here in Rock Springs. We usually have about 8 to 10 members who attend and participate regularly. We are actually increasing with that. I'm getting more and more every single day. But we do need more. So if you have ideas on how we can improve prevention efforts in the county, please attend a meeting or contact me specifically. And this is just kind of our information. If you call this number, please ask for prevention because it does locate to Southwest Counseling. If you would like my own personal phone number, that is also on our Sweetwater County Prevention Gmail. I try to be very available for all this kinds of stuff. So I try to let you guys know that, if anything is happening, I hope I can at least, reach out to you and you can reach out to me and we can work on something together. But what we're going to be doing this week, we do have a QPR training tomorrow at Western Wyoming Community College. It's from 5:30 to 7 p.m. It's in room 3650A. Those are the ones that's over by the tennis courts, right by the gym, just going all the way up the stairs to the third floor. It's that first classroom. We're truly just trying to keep on training community members in some type of suicide prevention training just since last July. We've trained over 639 people in some type of suicide prevention training. We're working really, really hard, trying to spread that message of hope, making sure that everybody knows and what's going on. And then obviously we have our 4th International Survivors of Suicide Lost Day event. We are going to be having some food and some light snacks and things like that. We're going to be screening a film from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention talking about suicide and grief and hope after a loss. We will also be having a discussion where we will have a couple of people present and then as a group just kind of discuss about future prevention efforts with suicide. And then after that, we will be having our resource fair as well as a new event, a new activity that we are going to be doing, which is called Memory Quilts. We're going to have every survivor decorate a memory quilt in honor of their loved one that they lost, and we're going to start gathering those pieces together. That way we can present them at all the events. That way we are reminded of those that we have lost, but we are also reminded of what we can prevent in the future. And I'll stand for questions.
Council? For my part, I would encourage everyone, even if they don't think they have any ideas about how they can help with prevention, to be involved. We've been doing a lot, having a lot of meetings and bringing together a lot of different groups within the community, and I'm really excited and grateful, and thank you for your work.
Thank you.
That hopefully we can, get out of number 3 in the state and reduce our suicide rate and our drug and alcohol abuse rates and all those sorts of things to be a healthier and more stable society. And I think people would be really shocked if they actually looked at who we're losing and how many people we're losing. It's really just a sort of unmitigated tragedy. So here's a good chance to make a difference and to impact that. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. One thing I would like to actually add, we are collaborating with Western Wyoming Community College's Boost Club to work towards a suicide prevention campaign for middle-aged men. We're going to try and get out to the mines and kind of work with our Man Therapy campaign and continue on with that. We're still in kind of beginning parts of that, but we're still working towards it, and it's going to be great.
Wonderful.
We're working towards it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now I would welcome the Academy representatives up. If you'd like to come up to the podium and identify yourselves.
Hi, we're a part of the Academy of Public Service. I'm a senior in high school. My name's Angela Silva, and beside me are Jillian Polinick and Marley Adams. And we're just going to be talking about the academies and what we learn and all the experiences we have. Okay. We are also representing the Health Occupation Career Academy, our Academy of Public Service, and the CTE Academy of Rock Springs High School. The HOCA focuses on careers in the medical field. APS focuses on careers in the public service like firefighting, law enforcement, teaching, law, and other public entities. The CTE Academy focuses on trades like welding, woods, metals, automotive, culinary, aviation with a concentration on the business. These academies are programs beginning sophomore year that allow students to explore a career field that interests them. This also provides a cohort environment for students to be part of from sophomore through senior year. The program provides times and opportunities for field trips, guest speakers, job shadowing, and mentoring. We will report out each month what our great programs are doing and what we have done to partner with the community.
In the last month, we have completed some of the following. We have completed over 480 hours of community service. APS juniors have job shadowed 375 hours. APS seniors have job shadowed 324 hours. The HOCA juniors have job shadowed around 238 hours. HOCA seniors have job shadowed 265 hours. All APS and HOCA juniors are certified in BLS or CPR. APS juniors helped to ask questions at the school board candidate forum on October 21st. HOCA and APS continue to work weekly with their mentees at Pilot View and Eastside Elementary. APS sophomores and juniors have attended field trips at the 3rd Judicial District in Green River. HOCA seniors have packed and delivered approximately 1,620 weekend food bags for various elementary schools for the weekend food. CTE juniors are mentoring students at multiple schools across the district like Walnut, Sage, Stagecoach, North Park, Eastside, and the Rock Springs Junior High. CTE Academy is partnering with the community Industrial Systems Consulting to bring mentors to our CTE Academy students at Rock Springs High School. Sophomores at the HOCA and APS academies are preparing to host a career fair for the local eighth graders.
APS juniors are currently working through a mock Congress process. FBLA is currently participating in an online tournament with other high schools across Wyoming. This tournament consists of students completing objective tests on 4 different topics on their choice. FBLA will be starting its community service project. This project will be a Christmas food drive. All food donated will be given to the food bank. As academies, we like to give back to the community, but we also like to have the community in our classrooms to help us learn the professionals in our field. If you would like to come in and see what we do or would like us to help you with something you are doing, please contact one of the following people at the Rock Springs High School. For HOCA, Amberly Beardsley. For APS, Heidi Rubich. And for the CTE, Caleb Moore or Jordan Erspalmer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions or comments?
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
So when do you guys do your phlebotomy stuff? I was allowed to get poked last year. It was fantastic.
I think we already did that. That happened a few weeks ago.
Drew blood and all that?
Yeah.
Well, and then we also do our competition blood drive, I think, towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay,
But this was just like our previous one where it was just where anybody could come.
okay.
Very good. Anyone else? Well, we sure appreciate you coming to share with us. It really makes a difference when we're able to step out of our kind of little world and interact with each other and hear the good work that you guys are doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our final item under presentations and proclamations is the Small Business Saturday Proclamation. The City of Rock Springs celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, there are 33.3 million small businesses in the United States. Small businesses represent 99.9% of firms with paid employees. Small businesses are responsible for 62.7% of net new jobs created since 1995. And small businesses employ 45.9% of the employees in the private sector in the United States. 68 cents of every dollar spent at a small business in the United States stays in the local community, And every dollar spent at small businesses creates an additional 48 cents in local business activity as a result of employees and local businesses purchasing local goods and services. In 2023, 59% of consumers who knew about Small Business Saturday shopped or ate at an independently owned retailer or restaurant, and 61% of them agreed that they found a shop where they are likely to return. The City of Rock Springs supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities. Advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare November 30th, 2024, to be Small Business Saturday in the City of Rock Springs, and urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and to shop small throughout the year. Okay, very good. That brings us to petitions and public comment. If anybody would like to address the council and I, please step up to the podium and identify who you are and who, if anyone, you represent.
Hi, I'm Trina Britton. I work for the Rocket Miner newspaper, but this evening I'm going to represent myself. And today was quite the day. This evening my mother could have died in her sleep. Last night she called saying she had no heat in her house. So of course she spent the night with yours truly. And this morning I took her out to breakfast at Santa Fe Southwest Grill. And while we were there, the contractor was at the house doing his thing. We went back and he said it was a simple ignition issue. So I said, okay. And I left her there for a couple of hours so I could run around and do my thing. And I went back to pick her up to go to the Senior Citizen Center for her exercise class and to socialize since she lives out in Reliance. She's a little isolated. And while I was in there, there was a loud beeping noise. Couldn't figure out what the heck it was or where it was coming from. And it was coming from the laundry area in the back of the house. We couldn't, for the life of us, find out where the beeping noise was coming from. So I says, well, you know what? We're running late. We're going to go to the senior center right now. Okay. So we went out there for about an hour and a half, came back by about 2:30. That beeping noise was still going. It was really loud, really annoying. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to tear this laundry room apart. We're going to see where it's coming from. And of course, I'm half deaf. I'm deaf in my left ear since birth. So it's really hard for me to pick up which direction it's coming from unless I stand there, close my eyes a little bit and kind of focus. And my mom was gabbing. I said, okay, shh, I got to find out where this is coming from. It was coming from one of those big red Coleman toolbox shelves. It was like a cart, a tool cart. I opened up the third drawer and there it was, as loud as day, and it was beeping like mad, and it was in the red zone. I was like, Mom, what is this doing in here? I don't know. Well, my mom is showing signs of dementia. And when that happens, people tend to misplace things, and they get a little paranoid sometimes. I've caught her moving the tool shed or the tool cart in front of the back door because she thought someone was going to break in. That was a temporary phase, luckily. But yeah, I found that in her drawer. Wasn't sure if it was malfunctioning, and I didn't want to call 911 in case it wasn't an emergency. So I called Chief Walmsley, and he directed the Rock Springs Fire Department, number 1, to my mom's house. And meantime, we got out just to be safe and waited out in the car. And of course, it was chilly and it was windy, but we warmed up in the car and chatted a bit. And they came. And sure enough, the house was full of carbon monoxide. So it wasn't a false alarm. It wasn't malfunctioning. It was working quite well. It was very reliable. Just wish it had been more visible, but we found it due to the beeping sounds. And so obviously it was more than just an ignition issue. She needs a new furnace now. It had been in the house since 91. And several other issues played into part, which led to the carbon monoxide poisoning, the spread of it. And it was very high levels in that small house. So just wanted to stand before you folks today and express my gratitude to Chief Walmsley and to Clark Allred and his team for coming out there and taking care of my mother and I. There's been several takeaways today, besides knowing who you should hire for a contractor. And 2, carbon monoxide devices, smoke alarms, make sure they're working properly. Make sure you can see them, see what they're doing. And most of all, check on your senior mothers, your senior fathers, especially if they are losing their memory, because every moment we spend with them is definitely precious. Oh, and we found her cat. She escaped during the chaos, and those firefighters, they looked and looked. And yes, Clark, we found her cat. So I forgot to message you before the meeting. But yes, happy ending all the way around. And she's spending the night with me tonight and tomorrow until we get that furnace on Thursday. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, with that, we will move on to bills and claims, starting with the bills and claims for November 19th, 2024. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for November 19th, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Okay, the motion carries with Councilors Thompson and Pedri abstaining, bringing us to salaries for November 7th, 2024. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve the salaries for November 7th, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining.
Okay, the motion carries with Councilors Pedri and Thompson abstaining. Taking us to new business. First up, we have a request from the Finance Department for approval of the fiscal year 2025 final budget. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Demas. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Our next item is a request from the Finance Department for approval of the City of Rock Springs fiscal year 2024 audit report for McGee, Hearn, and Pies. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Thompson. Is there any discussion? I would just say, again, kudos and very well done. That's awesome. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to our final item of new business, which is a request from the Mayor's Office for approval of employee Christmas bonuses. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Pedri. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to resolutions. First up, we have Resolution 2024-160.
A resolution authorizing and directing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to accept and approve a budget revision to the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-160.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, bringing us to Resolution 2024-161.
A resolution accepting a fiscal year 2024 community project funding grant agreement number B24CPWY 2406 between the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said grant agreement on behalf of the city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion? Thank you, Counselor Batolo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Robinson. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Hickerson.
I just want to thank everybody involved with helping us secure this grant. Been really trying hard to get this Bitter Creek project moved further forward, so thanks.
Very good. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-162.
A resolution accepting and approving revised job descriptions for the positions of Accounting Technician 1 at pay grade 103 and Accounting Technician 2 at pay grade 105 and Senior Accounting Technician at pay grade 106 for the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-162.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you, Counselor Thompson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-163.
A resolution accepting and approving a grant award agreement between the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security and the City of Rock Springs and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to execute said grant award agreement on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counselor Hickerson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Hanson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. We are now on Resolution 2024-164.
A resolution accepting and approving a grant award agreement between the Wyoming Office of Homeland Security and the City of Rock Springs and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to execute said grant award agreement on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Hanson.
I move to approve Resolution 2024-164.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Batolo. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-165.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract between the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming and Inliner Solutions LLC in the amount of $845,138 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion? Counselor Demas.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-165.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. We are now on Resolution 2024-166.
A resolution of the governing body of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming to provide retention bonuses to police officers in the Rock Springs Police Department.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Counselor Thompson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Robinson. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Counselor Robinson?
Chief, I heard a rumor the other day that we've currently got 10 people in backgrounds for police officer positions. Is that accurate? And can you kind of give us an update on that?
Your Honor, Counselor, yes, that's the correct number at this time. The reason I can tell you that those numbers are increasing is the changes that we've seen. I guess the first time we presented retention bonuses, I told you it was part of a larger plan. You know, we don't want to just pay retention bonuses forever. It's a means to an end in that we want to invest money in good and get more officers on. And so part of that plan is the marketing firm that you heard the other day to try to get our package and messages out to prospective police officers around the country, not just locally. And then changes to the way we do our hiring practices. So in the past, we were eliminating applicants right off the bat. There's several steps, as you know, to become a police officer, and for every step you didn't pass immediately, you were eliminated from contention. We've made some changes into that to where, you know, I can't move you on. I can't hire you until you pass everything But instead of just sending you home, we're pushing you through to the next step. So maybe you didn't pass the fitness test, but instead of sending you home, tomorrow morning we're still going to do a written test and an oral board, and maybe you get passing scores in that, and we find that, hey, this guy's worthwhile. Let's just invest in him in fitness and get him to the standard so that we can move him on. And that's keeping more people in backgrounds. And that's why you see that number increasing, is that we're no longer eliminating candidates for one failure along the process. We're keeping them in until, there's timelines. I think we said 1 year. And if you haven't passed the fitness test in that 1 year, then we're going to eliminate you. But keeping people on longer, getting the background going quicker, because we wouldn't start that process normally until you've jumped through all the hoops already. So, when I got hired on here, it was 6-8 months to happen. Now we're 2 to 3, and so we're really expediting that, but it still even needs to be faster. But that's why you see that number increase.
Great, thank you.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to mention part of that is with the Civil Service Commission that you made me a part of with Mike LaPiccolo and Charlie Vanover. I've really bent over backwards working with the city. Actually, tomorrow morning we have an oral board that between the chief and Sergeant Moser and Kelly told us about a couple days ago, and the commission is like, yeah, sure, we'll meet. So instead of once a month, we're working with them, and they are really putting in the effort to build up our police department.
Wonderful. Okay. For my part, I hate, we have to call it something, right? And so we call it a retention bonus. And from my perspective, it's really more of we appreciate you sticking with us while we're asking you to go above and beyond, your normal course of work while we work to address that lack of officers. But that would be really wordy to put in a resolution. So it really is just our way of saying, hey, we know we're asking more of you than you signed up for because we're in this position and we are working to fix it. And in the meantime, here's some compensation. Thank you. We appreciate you. So with that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-167.
A resolution accepting and approving purchase orders and a statement of work from VLCM Utah for the purchase and professional installment of new Electra SAN servers for the IT department, and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said statement of work and purchase orders on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hanson.
I move to approve Resolution 2024-167.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Pedri. Yeah. I think it was really good of Jim to add the fire trucks in here for Gina, because it makes that 92,000 look a lot smaller. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to Resolution 2024-168.
A resolution accepting and approving a purchase agreement with Sea Western Emergency Vehicles for $1,364,000 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Thank you, Council. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Thompson. Is there any discussion? I know a group of you met with Chief Walmsley.
Yes, we met the other night, and the information put out, I didn't realize some of our apparatus were from 95.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the chief mentioned that was engine 2, that your firefighters are not real happy with at this moment and needs replaced.
Engine 2.
In the shop.
Your Honor, Mayor Mickelson, Councilor Thompson, Engine 2 is universally unpopular between the firefighters and the city garage. It hasn't proven to be a very dependable platform over the years, requiring a lot of maintenance. It's first generation of the engine platform that's in it. And we, at one point in time, were regenerating that apparatus to clean the exhaust system 4 to 5 times a week. It has extensive problems with the cooling system. You can almost walk by it with a lit cigarette and make it overheat, so, especially in the summer. Bad for a fire truck.
Not a good look. Well, and certainly we have explored multiple different approaches to replacing that particular engine. And this appears to be the most cost-effective way to buy what are used but very good quality fire engines. And then we will hopefully keep that trend going so that we don't end up having to buy 2 at once. Yeah. Is there anything else?
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to have Councilman Robinson fix Engine 2?
I'm not sure that I've got the skills.
So you hiding your light under a bushel down there?
I definitely do not have mechanical skills. You can ask my wife. She would be sure to confirm that.
Very good. Okay. All right. With that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously, taking us to our final resolution of this evening, 2024-169.
A resolution authorizing and directing Max Mickelson as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to accept and approve a budget revision to the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demus?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-169.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? The motion carries unanimously, bringing us to council updates. And before I turn it over to the council, I could have kicked myself at the last meeting because I completely forgot to share something that we probably all should hear. Myself, along with Councilors Thompson and Demas, attended the ribbon cutting for the new VA hospital. And the folks that are in charge of that particular project are a pretty big outfit and have built VA hospitals all over the country. And
that was Councilor Robinson. You're thinking another different.
Oh, sorry. Was that you?
It might have been me.
It's been several years ago. Last month.
Look so much alike.
Fair. It's just cops all look alike.
I know.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Thank you. And thank you for that. But when he was up speaking about the process and their excitement of bringing that to Rock Springs, he took quite a lot of time to go into pretty significant detail about how absolutely outstanding our planning and building departments are to work with, and that they would rather build 10 more facilities here in Rock Springs than anywhere else they've built in the country. So I thought that was a pretty neat thing to hear. And I suspect if you come in and come to the city and walk through everything you're doing, that it is a pretty easy process. So yeah, no, I just wanted to share that with everyone because he was really impressed with how good our department was to work with. So with that, Council, do you have anything you'd like to share before we dismiss to go get ready for Thanksgiving?
No, I don't have.
Okay, we're adjourned.